Hello there. Reform UK is now unstoppable, but only because the voter now realises that electing any other currently available option would be an unmitigated disaster. And yet another poll cements Reform UK as the leading contender in the next general election. But as ever, it's not because Reform UK has the well-formulated policy answers, but more because people can now see how broken Britain has become, and will continue to be, under the stewardship of the red-blue uniparty establishment, which in turn is propped up by the likes of the Lib Dems, the Greens and the SNP. Yes, by being as anti-UK and woke as the blob is, and taking all the taxpayers' money it can lay its hands on, the SNP is actually helping to prop up the declinist UK establishment. Anyway, this latest multi-level regression and post-stratification, or MRP poll from YouGov predicts that if a general election were held today, Reform UK would walk away with 271 seats, with Labour in second place on 178 seats. The Lib Dems would be in third with 81 seats, leading the Tories in fourth on just 46 seats. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The SNP would be in fifth place on 38 seats, and the Greens and Plaid would get 7 seats apiece. And that leaves 22 seats to split amongst the rest, including the independents. Now, this result, if it came to fruition, would leave a very unstable hung parliament. Something we all need to be concerned about right now, as the chances of an early general election appear to be ramping up. Concerned because Reform UK would be well short of the 326 seats it needs to govern effectively, because it will be unable to push through any legislation without the help of other parties' MPs. Yes, Nigel Farage would probably be Prime Minister, but would be unable to get anything in his manifesto past the House of Commons without watering it down into uselessness, off his own MPs in no uncertain terms. Even a Reform UK Tory coalition would only give them 317 seats, still short of the 326 they would require. And the only way to prevent Nigel Farage from becoming Prime Minister would be for the left to form a Labour, Lib Dem and SNP coalition. And the main price for that would be another Scots Nats referendum, their Indie Ref 2. This sort of result reminds me of some EU elections where the right-of-centre party wins the most seats but is completely sidelined by the establishment. In short, this lack of a working majority, coupled with the intransigence of the woke Westminster and Whitehall machines and the House of Lords, would mean that an embattled Nigel Farage in number 10 would be unable to pass any legislation that upset the English Channel rubber dinghy crossings or that could turbocharge the UK economy. Now a quick interjection. Please like, subscribe and comment below and become a channel member to get extra content like this for less than the price of a pint in a London pub per month by clicking on the join button or following the link in the descriptions box below on a laptop or desktop computer. So the new Reform UK government would be powerless to get any meaningful legislation enacted, because the still majority lefty House of Commons would vehemently oppose any change that Reform UK would want to see. Beef up the immigration and deportation laws? Forget it. Leave the ECHR? Not on your Nelly. Welfare reform? You must be joking. Lower taxes? Don't make me laugh. In fact, the first weeks and months of such a Reform UK administration would be mired in conducting pointless negotiations with potential coalition partners. Yes, pointless negotiations. And big question, could Farage hold his Westminster team together during all of this? Many of them will have their own red lines where inter-party negotiations are concerned. And it is then that the mainstream press will strike as they suddenly unearth all manner of skeletons in the cupboards of all those newly minted Reform UK MPs. And I do have to wonder what those weekly meetings between King Charles III and Prime Minister Nigel Farage would look like. Pistols at dawn, maybe? And to cap it all, I would expect a flurry of complaints from civil servants against Reform UK ministers. Yes, we all now realise that the civil serpentry has no love for the UK and its heritage and will do all it can to destroy anyone with any aims of rebuilding the respect and love the UK population and the wider world used to have for this country. And all that, in my view, would almost certainly result in another general election in short order, just like it does, as we so often see, on the other side of the English Channel. More importantly, though, this sort of hung Parliament outcome will not smash the long-standing, two-sided uniparty state. It could also be the death of any talk about proportional representation, as people cotton on to what all the dither and delay it could cause starts to become apparent. The only way to smash this current uniparty establishment disaster is to give the outsider looking to change it all the muscle you can. In this case, that means giving the disruptor party a massive majority so that it can steamroller through the legislation that is required to make the necessary changes. Now, the big question is, if they do get elected with a good working majority, will Reform UK be able to make the changes the majority of the country wants to see? Will it have the in-depth, well-thought-out policies ready to meet the demands of rebuilding this country? Or will Nigel Reform's disruptor Reform UK just be the vehicle that brutally smashes through the uniparty barrier? A vanguard that exhausts itself in the effort of exposing the shortcomings of the establishment system and the hypocrisy of legacy party politicians. To truly get the job done, either Reform UK will have to have the depth of ability and policy within its ranks over and above the thinking that they can't possibly be worse than the current lot, or be quickly followed by those that do have that depth of ability and in-depth policy formulation. Just by thinking they can't be as bad as the last lot will not do. Just look where that thinking got us at the last general election in 2024. And just voting for Nigel Farage and Reform UK on the single issue of battering through the uniparty barricade is no better if there is no cohesive plan on what to do once that's achieved. There must be a real point to it, real policies that the people will get behind and demand are followed through on. Something that would allow the anti-uniparty battle to be successfully waged. Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our members and Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.